Hi, welcome to another section in my YouTube channel. Please kindly subscribe with the name Berta Chemina. It's still me, your girl, Mena. So good to know you're still there for me. Yeah, today we together shall be shaking the table because we are going properly into the home. Oh, yes, we shall be looking at those common mistakes our parents make in terms of raising children. Number one, unnecessary comparison and expectations. Many of our parents are guilty of this. They compare their children with that of their neighbors, siblings, colleagues. You know, can't you? Is it not your mates that are doing this? Can't you see in fun? She has traveled outside the country. See, Obong. Obong is building. You see what Hazan is doing. You know that kind of comparison. You are torturing that child mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and otherwise. You are destroying the life of that child. When a parent is expecting so very much, more than necessary, more than the capacity and capability of the child, what are you expecting? You are indirectly pushing that child to a crime. Sure, because when the child cannot stand those your torture with your words, with your actions, you see the child moving into some vices. Cybercrime, internet crime, robbery, prostitution, drugs, name it. Just because the child wants to live up to your expectations. Remember, children are heritage of God. You are just a caretaker. So be careful how you treat them and how you raise them because you will automatically give account of how you raise those children before the creator that gave you to them. Number two, most of our parents had no time for their children. So busy, looking for money up and down. Today they are in Hong Kong. The next day, Israel. The other day, they have moved down to Turkey. The children only communicate with them via phone, social media. No time for your child. Your child is asleep. You move out. As you are coming back, the child is still sleeping. Because you are pursuing money. You have left the responsibility of raising a child as a parent or as parents into the hands of nannies, siblings, relations that are staying with you. Most times, unknowingly to you, those human beings are really the agents of child molestations. Why are you risking the life of your child? How well are you really training your child as a parent? Being a parent is not just the ability to push out the child, breastfeed the child, provide financial needs of the child. It goes beyond that. Your ability to train up a well accepted child in the society is what makes the difference. The Bible says in the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6, train up a child the way he should go, that when he is old, he will never depart from it. What foundation are you laying for your child? What can your child say? I learned this from my parents. My mommy taught me this. Wow, I got this from this idea from my dad. Because you never bonded with them. You don't even have time for them. You don't know the pains, the stress they pass through, both in the house, church, society, school, and anywhere. You were never there for them. Number three, those that are already in the universities, kind of a little mature that can stay on their own. You send your child to the university without adequate, financial support. What are you really putting that child through or into? To go into crime, to go prostitute. All you know is that you have paid school fees. Is that child going to live on the street to go to school? I'm asking you. Won't that child eat? No clothing, no provision for food, nothing. Handouts, textbooks, nothing. Toiletries, her food, nothing. Her medical care, nothing. Provided you have given school fees, she can go. A parent once told me, is she not an adult? She can survive the way others are surviving. Can you imagine that? A child was arrested for one crime in school and undergraduates. And in the course of the interview, the parents only provide school fees. He fend for himself. What are you really expecting? If you know you are not capable of sending your child to school, please, I think I should advise, don't send. Maybe you can help the child to learn other things. Why give help him to stand his feet in a situation or in a way where he can now fend, pay the school fees and fend for himself when he steps into the university. Maybe handwork than nothing. And the child is sent down to the school, especially the girls. What are you really teaching? And we keep talking about cohabitation. Cohabitation, it is high among students. These are one of the reasons behind the cohabitation that we experience among our undergraduates. The next point is, when you are in the habit of sending your child to go spend the night in a neighbor's house or in one of your relatives, it is very risky, auntie. Uncle, I must tell you, watch where your child spends the night. Because that neighbor you are actually sending your child to, do you know what the neighbor will do to your child? That relation that you are sending your child to, do you know? Okay, even if those people are not direct molesters, they don't molest the child directly. Do you know the activities that go on in the house in the night? Those that are in some negative habits, the child could learn. Maybe cocaine, maybe drugs, maybe smoking. If he's gay, maybe he's practicing it with his fellow man, or a lesbian, a woman comes, dark arts, and your child is learning. What have you really exposed the child to? So it is very risky for you to allow your child spend the night in a neighbor's house, whether a boy child or a girl child. Be careful where you allow your children spend the night. Then the last one I want to talk about is reluctance in relating with a friend or a relation. When you notice that art in the life of your child, please be careful as a mother, be careful as a father. This is a child who is always very friendly. Maybe his lesson teacher, maybe his uncle, his aunt, maybe a particular neighbor, a family friend, a colleague or something. But all of a sudden, this child started behaving, withdrawn, started behaving very, even to greet the person. Please, it speaks volume. Bring your eyes down and check what is really happening. He may have made some moves that the child is not comfortable with. But because some of us are very careless, you won't even read meanings to that particular thing. You won't know that the child is being tortured. Sometimes, we even allow our children to go sit on the laps of a neighbor, all in the name of, he's my wife, he's my husband. That has caused a lot of rape on our case. So, I just want to quickly bring this to our notice. In the course of raising our children, let us be very, very careful. Because in Proverbs chapter 23, verse 18, I think part A says, surely there is an end. Howsoever you train that child, the end shall speak. And you must give account of how you train that child. Remember, you are just a caretaker. So be very, very careful in raising your child. I'll see you again in my next video. Don't forget, it's still me, your girl, Nena. Ciao.